Welcome to Purpose Living Podcast. My name is Panji, and you are who?
Jen.
Look, I like the merchandise. You got a nice shirt that says
Isn't that
Purpose
awesome?
Living Coaching.
Yeah, right?
You can get yourself one. You can. It's another brand new week. I know we had a week off because last week. Busy planning for an event that the women had, and the great reviews, great input and insight from the event. So we'll talk about that a little bit here. But new episode today, and we have a conversation around the power of community. Basically talking about, the things that surround you and the people that are in your circle, and how that can impact you in a good way and can be impact you in a bad way as well. But going from that area of life. So let's get it going. Community. What would be your definition of community?
To me, it's just the people that you are surrounded with, the people that are, in your life, speaking into your life, that are influencing you, those people that are the closest to you is that tight-knit community. But then your acquaintances, those other people that you interact with, whether at work or in the, in your neighborhood or, in your children's events or whatever, that's all part of your community as well.
So that's a great point that you brought those out. I think you can have community in different places, right? You can have a community in your church. You can have a community in your neighborhood, community that you have. The place that you go to work, that's a whole nother community, right? So, and depending on where you are at, that can be different. Not that your principles and your values don't change, but the way you interact with people in that community can be completely different too. So we are like the people we spend the most time with. First of all, before we go there, let's jump into the event that you guys had this past weekend. Heard a lot of good things about it. I'll let you handle that part.
Right, yeah. So this is a women's retreat, so he didn't get to join us for that one. But it was so nice and refreshing just to be around a group of women. We had 80 people register, 77 were able to actually join us. Sicknesses, different things kind of prevent people. But it was just such a powerful time of people that desired to grow, desired to want to learn more. There was such a spirit of just encouragement, of like eagerness to learn. It was just peaceful and beautiful. And what's so awesome about that is when we truly do want the best for one another, and not in like comparative reality or trying to like one up one another, but like truly just coming together, knowing that we all have different areas that we're looking to grow in. We all have different strengths that we're thriving in, and we all have different weaknesses that maybe are kind of that limiting us in a little bit, but we all have it and it looks different. But when we can come together and say, you know what, I want to lay down whatever I came in here with, and I want to be able just to say, okay, what's that next step that I can take today? And there was just such a time where, those side conversations that could happen, but also like just that, those little nuggets that we needed to hear in order to continue to grow. And I'm thankful there's, lots and lots of really great feedback. And so we will definitely be having a lot more events, because there is power when we bring people together in person. So community online, those types of things are great, and it's a great extra resource. But when you can come together and sit with other people, there's just a lot of power and a lot of growth that can take place in that kind of environment.
And I love the fact that you talk about just the thought of just different people coming together, right? And I love it when one of the ladies that were there yesterday shared in our group that different denominations, right? Because we're all faith-based in what we do. And I love it when she talked about how there's every single different denomination that showed up. But at the end of the day, they had one sole goal and one sole purpose, and that is to help each other grow and mature in all their areas of their life. And I truly value that, right? Because you can find yourself in different communities, and you might have people that don't believe the same thing that you believe. You might have people that maybe don't go to the same church you go to the same church, right? Different traditions and all that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you can't learn from those people. And when I say you can't learn, that doesn't mean that those people are going to try to, maybe they might try to influence the certain things that you might think about, but at least you're trying to find some kind of growth in those areas of your life. If you're strong in your faith and you stand firm in your core values and all those things, but there's just that beauty in everybody coming together and having conversation and breaking bread, really, and talking about, many different ways that we can all grow and mature and help each other grow, and that's the beauty of community, right? And you can't like I think every single time that you have people sitting together and having conversations together, there's something magical magical about that we all leave thinking about, man, what this person said kind of made me think about this and this and this and that, and there's growth in that, and that's why community, there's power in community.
Yeah, and I want to say too, what I loved that I really valued too was the age demographic of these women. So we had as early as very, very early 20s, I think maybe 21, all the way to upper 60s, even maybe early 70s was the range of women that showed up. And so that just like encourages me, and just I love the fact that we're never too old or too young to start growing, to start learning. And those young women can learn so much from those older women, but also vice versa, and we're all in different stages of life and different backgrounds and upbringings, and you just never know who you're going to learn from when you put yourself in that kind of environment.
That's a great point. Like one of my mentors said, he has different mentors from different age groups, from young people to older people that are older than him. And he's like, I can learn from the younger people. Just because I'm older doesn't mean like I can't learn from the younger people. And once again, that's why there's power in community, because you can learn from almost anybody that you choose to be around. So, all right, well, let's hop into this next one. We are like the people we spend the most time with. Expand on that.
All right. So when you look at your core group of people, so the people that you are around a lot, those ones that are like close, where you can call them up for anything at any time, and they're going to be influencing your life, because you are going to influence or be influenced. But those core group, if you're spending a lot of time together, no matter what, they're going to have influence in your life. And so really looking at who is in my core circle, what qualities do they have? So something that kind of spoke to me at one time was, would I want my children to grow up like them? Because they're going to influence me, and I'm going to influence my children. So what is their lifestyle, something that I would want my children to grow up into? Or do I want to become more like them? Not meaning that anybody's perfect or anything like that, but just knowing that it is going to impact us. If, let's say, they're kind of negative and just always complaining and, talking about things that aren't building anybody up, you naturally can get sucked into that, and then your mind is thinking negatively or in fear or whatever. But if you're around people that are like, okay, how can we grow? How can we serve? How can we encourage people? It's going to make you want to do that. If they're getting healthy or, stewarding our finances well or growing in our faith, like if they're doing that, you're naturally going to want to do that. And so really looking at, who am I spending the most time with? And if they're not helping you, it might not be that you don't want to like just kick them out of your life. You just might not spend as much time with people that maybe aren't in that space where they're ready to grow. You still love them, still care about them, but we want to surround ourselves with people that want the best for us.
Hey, this is 2024, and this is what I'm on. I'm going to shoot it straight to you, and I'm just going to do it as loving, as caring as I can. Listen, I love you. I care about you. But there's something that needs to, change. When I come around you, there's certain things that you say that, me personally, not that I don't care, but it's not adding any value to my life. Right? It's not truly helping me or you grow in the directions that we want to go. So let's start to have like positive, not, and I'm not just saying like, hey, just be like a positive. No, if there's something really like hurting you in your heart, let's talk about it. But we can't spend our time talking about, hey, did you see what this guy posted on Facebook? That is Facebook, right? I'm just trying to move on with life. I'm trying to help your life be better. I'm hoping that you're doing the same for me. So instead of us wasting our time talking about things that are not going to help us grow, let's kind of move on that, and let's find something that is positive with each other, right? And because if I just kind of sit there and don't do anything, it's gonna rub off of me, and then who knows? It just kind of follows from there, right? And we're not helping each other grow in those areas of our life. So I think that's something that is worth thinking about. And just like you shared, and I love that. I love how you said it. You know, you're not just cutting people off your life. That's why for me personally, and I just had to have this conversation today with somebody. It's like, listen, let's try to build each other up. Let's not try to tear each other down. Let's try to build each other up. And we do it in a loving way, in a caring way, and help each other. And let's have a conversation face to face about it. I'm not going to call you over the phone. I'm not, well, unless you live in far away and I can't do that. Well, now I can do Zoom too so that you can see my emotions. I can see your emotions. I'm just that type of person. But I'm going to sit with you face to face and have the conversation face to face. Because text messages, calling, messaging is not going to cut it. We got to be able to sit down together and have those conversations with each other. So,
And I think it's good then to move in from, like who we are spending our most time with into what is like healthy boundaries. So what does that look like? And I'll be really honest with you. For a season of my life, I didn't know that boundaries were even like, I thought they were like bad. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just was like, I'm just gonna like freely open myself to everyone because I just want to love them and care for them. And I had zero boundaries, even like with my kids. Like it was, yeah, bad. And so realizing that healthy boundaries are actually a really good thing. It just allows us to know where I start and where somebody else begins. And even in our marriage, even though we are one, we still have to have those healthy, like where I start and where he begins, even though we are connected as one. And so knowing that that's okay and what you are and are not willing to open yourself up to, and just really allowing that to be where you feel okay with saying no and when you are supposed to say yes.
Yeah, and I love that. And even in our marriage, right? And it's just me having her back and her having my back. That's all what setting boundaries is, right? Because I know what will make her stressed, right? And if I see that happening, it is okay for me to go and say, hey, you might need to kind of back off on this. And I'm hoping that she'll do the same for me. That's the boundaries that we set. Or if I see, a lot of times I can pick up when the kids are starting to get a little bit antsy and they're driving her a little bit off the rails. I'll be like, hey, kids, let's go do something, right? To give her the space and time for her to go and do that. Now she's mastered it, and she's not, hey, I need my space. I'm going to go up to my room and I'm going to go do this. And that's okay. One, you're teaching your kids that, hey, mommy needs time, right? Instead of her trying to push it through and then she gets frustrated and some things might happen that kids don't need to get, right? But, setting those healthy boundaries are good ways for you to, one, get clarity, two, respond with clarity, and three, you're not just acting out of emotions, right? So setting those are really important, right? Yes, community is awesome to have, but at the same time, I can't be the yes man. Yes, 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 yes. No, you gotta set some boundaries for yourself to say, you know what, I would love to help you with this, but I have this going on right now. I need to go spend time with my families right now. And I think I was listening to a podcast and the guy was talking about, and he talked about how growing up, his dad just never said no to anything. He was just saying yes, 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 and his dad would just be gone a lot of times helping other people. right? And that was what he knew growing up. So he kind of became the same as his dad. He's always saying yes, yes, yes to a lot of things, and he was not spending time. But eventually, he kind of noticed that he needs to start saying no and spend more time with his family. So that's part of life. We're all called to help each other, and just because you said no, that doesn't mean that thing is not going to be taken care of. That's why you have community. Somebody else is an opportunity to go and bless that other person that needs that help.
Yeah, and I'll kind of share something that kind of helped me with that and like having those healthy boundaries was kind of picturing like, so let's say you're drawing a circle on a page, and in that center of that circle is me and God. So me and God is the core, the center, everything I want to do is with him. And then in that second circle is me, God, and my husband. So that is the next layer of what is closest to me. And then from there is God, me, my husband, and our children. That is that third circle that, that those needs have to be met first and primary before we go out. And then we can go out to like close friends, family members, extended family members, things like that. Then we can go out to, other people in your community, coworkers, whatever that might look like. And then those people that you're meant to minister to or serve or come alongside. So you have those layers of circles. It doesn't mean that you don't love everyone in all of the circles, but if you're not taking care of those inner circles, those inner core relationships, then you can be spending a lot of time out here on the end circle, and then that time in that relationship with you and God might be just diminishing because you're not actually spending time in that core circle. You're out doing a lot of other things, or maybe your family is getting resentful because you're doing all these things out here and you're not spending the quality time with the people that are in that core circle. And so just asking yourself, like, is this something that is good to do, but it's maybe not the time to do, like a good yes or a God yes? And then if you don't have that core circle with you and God, you won't know because you'll just start saying yes and have no boundaries and just kind of doing whatever. So taking that time to look at, is this going to be something that fills, me up, and service fills you up? But is it I'm just saying yes because I feel like I have to? Like you should get rejuvenated by your yeses and your service versus feeling like drained and like not wanting to do it because then you're just saying yes when you actually probably mean no.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that illustration too. And I think about like Facebook, right? You got Facebook friends. You have people that you probably don't. She got friends requests from Nigerian people that she doesn't even know, right? So that is Facebook is a community, right? It's a community to have, but within those friends that you have a core group of people that when they post something or they say something, you're like, wait a minute, I need to think about that one. That is not aligned with who that person is. Does that ever happen to you?
That they post something that doesn't align with who they are?
Yeah, with their values.
I don't know. I don't really think about it.
Okay, she's not moving Facebook. But so basically it's the same concept that you're talking about. You have your core circle and then just kind of expand from there, right? And it's another way of just checking yourself, right? And thinking about, okay, do the people around you want what is best for you, right? So if I am that friend and I'm on Facebook and I see something that somebody posts that does not align with who they are, I will call them and just have a conversation about them, about what they post, so that I can get clarity on those things. And I'm doing that not because that hurt my emotions or hurt my feelings, but because I care about who that person is. Because people are going to see that and maybe start making some kind of judgment on that person because that's what social media is, right? A lot of people see that. Or if you go out and you're talking and certain things that somebody's saying, it seems a little bit off, it's time to dial it back in and be like, hey, you seem a little bit down a little bit. What's going on? Are things going well? That's you looking out for the best interest of that other person, right? So for me, in the same line, yes, I have my community of friends outside, but then I have another small core community of my friends that when I call them and we're talking and they sense something in my voice that doesn't seem right, they're like, hey, something sounds a little bit off, man. What's going on? Right? And then the two of us, she can read me off. Like there's certain things that I might come home from work or certain things that she asks, and the way based on how I answer, she can read off and be like, "Hey, you seem a little off. Are you okay?" Um, so it's just being honest with the people around you, and because those people, when they ask you that question, that's why when I call my friends, first thing I tell them is, "Listen, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I don't want like the generic answer. I want the real answer." Because I want what is best for them. So you got to ask yourself the same question. Around your community, are those people looking out for the best? Are they looking out for the best for you? And then are you doing the same for those people as well?
Yeah. And do you have like that safe place that you can share those moments when you're in that struggle?
Yeah.
Those moments that you're in that hard, because we're all going to face things, and sometimes we need people who aren't in it to be able to see, to help speak life into us so that we know how to respond, not from emotion, but what's going to be best long term. And so some things you're not going to share with the whole world. I'm kind of an open book and probably share too much. But some things that you just kind of share with those intimate, close people who want the absolute best for you.
Yeah.
Who are going to point you to truth and things that are going to help you versus just agree with you and then like validate that you should be angry or bitter or whatever. You want people who are willing to tell you the hard things too, which is a rare find. To find like a one or two people in your life who you can go to who are going to tell you the truth, even if it hurts your feelings, but know it's best for you long term, that's truly a gift. And to have those people in your life. And if you don't, that's where maybe mentorship or coaching or something like that comes in, where you can be open and honest and then be able to have that non-partial party be able to speak and help you. I know when we had our marriage mentors come in, like, he didn't always tell us what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear. And that is what's going to actually help us to grow is, being able to speak that.
Yep. Are the people around you helping you grow? Which means you got to have uncomfortable conversations.
Yep, growth requires some pain and some...
You gotta be ready for it. So, on that note, great segue. Look at you. You're setting it up. It's just like throwing an alley-oop. Into Purpose Living Membership. We have a great membership that anybody who is willing to grow, anybody who wants to be... if you need somebody to come beside you to hold you accountable for those areas. In many areas that we are all trying to help people grow in. So I'll let you.
Yeah, the heartbeat behind the membership really is to create that space. We're growing in our body, our mind, our spirit, our relationships, and our finances. We have our 7 steps to purpose living coaching that we kind of did a little part of that at the event this weekend. And the response of that was really good. Like people were really like, oh, now I can see. And these are the action steps I'm going to take. Like it was like real and actually tangible. And that's how it's designed, is not just like, here's information, but here's where we're going, here's how we're actually going to do it, and we're going to take action upon it. So the course is all included in the membership, but then we have the community, and there's so much power in community. So we get to actually come together twice a month and have a time where we can grow and communicate and actually talk live together. But then there's also circles in there. So we have body, mind, spirit, relationships, finances, circles of different ideas and resources. We have meal ideas, we have workouts in there, but really a space to, as you're going through the course, like, okay, I'm going to visualize my goals here. You can write down what those are for added accountability and support from others. And so just to create a space where, everyone that is going to be in there desires to grow in those areas, and we're all about training to do life God's way. So it's not about just like, doing it and making our own agenda and our own plan, but like, what does it look like to be healthy and whole from the inside out, and having other people who also want to do that come alongside us and give each other ideas and be able to grow together that way.
Perfect. So, try to build a community around you that are looking out for the best for you. And also people who want to grow. And it has to be something that it's a two-way thing. It's not just a one-way thing. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up for this week.
Yep.
And we are Purpose Living Coaching.
Training to do life God's way.
So catch you guys next week.